talked about this in the intro video, and I'm planning on making a series of videos about the XT250, turning it into a little mini ADV. As part of that, I'm going to need USB capability, so I need to have some kind of USB outlet on the bike. It doesn't have one, factory standard. The problem here is that it's got a very small alternator, and by alternator I'm talking about the stator plus the regulator and the rectifier. So its alternator output isn't that high. So you have to be careful you don't overload the alternator or take too much power away from the charge circuit so you don't recharge the battery. Now, according to the wisdom of the internet, the alternator on the XT has an output of about 160 watts. The numbers are kind of vague. There doesn't seem to be any exact specification for it that I can find, but 160 seems about right. So 160 watts is not a lot of power. You think about the headlight, low beam is 55 watts, high beam is 60 watts. And then you've got all the other ancillary bits and pieces, brake light, tail light, indicators. You've also got idiot lights on the dash. And then you've got the actual ignition system and charge circuit for the battery. Again, there aren't exact numbers for this on the internet, but the ignition system runs 20 to 30 watts. So 60 watts for the bulb, 20 to 30 watts for the ignition system. You're starting to see that there's not a lot of headroom left for things like USB. You have to be careful when you're budgeting for USB power. A USB-A outlet, kind of a standard outlet, is, what's that, about 5 watts? So 5 watts isn't a lot, but when you start thinking about the bigger chargers, the wireless chargers, things like that, you can be talking up to about 60 watts. So that's quite significant. How do we increase the power budget? Well, we can't really increase the electrical output power of the engine. That's not really feasible. But what we can do is reduce the power consumption by looking at the biggest power consumer on that circuit, and that's the headlight. So if you switch from the factory standard headlight, which on this is a halogen, and move to an LED, you're freeing up somewhere in the regions of 20 to 40 watts. So the halogen headlight is a 55/60 watt. So 55 low beam, 60 watts high beam. I've picked up an H4 LED bulb, kind of standard LED bulb that will fit the XT. And that's running somewhere between 20 and 40 watts as best I can tell. So at a minimum, I'm freeing up 20 watts. At a maximum, I'm freeing up 40 watts. So changing the headlight bulb is the one big one. The rest I would do by attrition. In other words, when a bulb fails, just replace it with an LED bulb. That's simple. And that should give you plenty of power budget to play with. So in the next video, I'm going to look at how to replace the bulb. It's a very simple thing, and obviously a lot of you guys out there have done stuff like this before, much more complex stuff, but some people out there haven't. So I'm just going to go through the steps of how to replace a standard headlight bulb, a standard LED bulb that matches it, and we'll do some before and after shots to show you how much more efficient LED bulbs are. So see you in the next video.